Peace, peace, Black family. So I'm going to start doing an in-depth analysis of videos that I may post on my YouTube or on my Instagram page or Facebook page that I believe that people may not see the full social context of what I am posting. So with that being said, I want to touch on this video interview that I seen with Don Cheadle and Talib Kweli the other day. Talib Kweli was talking about Don Cheadle's role in Rosewood, and he began to talk about a scene from the movie.
Why I thought that movie was really interesting. Like, there's a line in it when they're looking for my character, who they've decided is the dude who raped the white chicks, and so they're trying to find us under the pretense of that, going to burn down the whole town. And so they go in my house, and my character is a piano teacher. Sylvester Kerr is a piano teacher. And they come back, and they're like, "Did you find him?" He's like, "No." He's like, "You know that nigga got a piano in his house?" He's like, "I don't have a piano. He's got a piano." And his friend's like, "You can't play the piano." He's like, "That ain't the point.
That ain't the point.
Niggas got a piano. I ain't got a piano. How does that look?"
Right.
I was like,
and that is a very critical scene in the movie, because a lot of us miss the fact that racism is an institution that works in twofold, meaning that it works in the benefit of rich white people to stay in social economical power, right? And it also strokes the ego of the poor white person. As the former president Lyndon B. Johnson said, it doesn't matter if a poor white person is the poorest of poorest, as long as, and I'm paraphrasing, as long as you give him someone to look down upon, then, you know, you could take all the money out of his pocket, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he's poor as hell, as long as you can say, hey, at least you're not a nigger, right? Dr. Amos Wilson says in his books that white people's self-esteem is based off of how horrible black people are doing in society. Their self-esteem is based off of your economical failure. White poor people's self-esteem is based off of how well they can mistreat you in society. And that's why this video of Don Cheadle is very important to analyze. Even if you read The Irritated Genie by Jacob Carruthers. The Irritated Genie is a essay of the Haitian Revolution. And on page 16 through 17, at the bottom and the top, he begins to go in on a story or the social reality of Saint-Domingue or Haiti in the 1700s. Now, to understand this story more better, there's four social classes in Saint-Domingue in the 1700s. You had the rich whites, you had the rich mulattoes, you had the petit blancs, which was the poor whites who couldn't own slaves, and then you had the slaves themselves. So there were four social classes, and the rich whites were at the top, and the mulattoes at the second level of social class, right? And so the poor whites in Saint-Domingue in the 1700s were so bitter and so upset that these mixed race people, these mulattoes, had a level of social class over them that they would not allow them to wear shoes on the island. They would have to walk around barefoot. The mixed race people would have to walk around barefoot because it bothered the poor white people's self-esteem that these mixed race Negroes had more social class and money than them. So they would force them to walk around with shoes. And what the mulattoes would do is they would put diamonds on their toes and on their feet, just to show them, even though, you know, you have social power over me, I'm still financially above you. So I'm going to put diamonds and studs on my feet. And this goes into what I was saying about racism being an institution that works in twofold. It keeps white people in a social advantage, right? Economically, you know, institutionally. And then it makes the poor white people feel good about themselves. This is why you can have 75% of, you know, white people in America, including women, vote for someone like Donald Trump, because he speaks to the inner racist inside of them. He speaks to the, at least I'm not a Negro or nigger. You know, at least, you know, I wake up every day with white, because you have to understand, in this society and in global society now, because American imperialism has become global, in other societies, whiteness is viewed as capital. Whiteness is viewed as a form of money and is valued in societies, right? And so that's how racism works, essentially. It's not just the poor excuse me, it's not just the rich white people at the top. It's also structured around the poor white people who are able to mistreat you based on your color. They get a level of self-esteem from that. You know, Dr. Amos Wilson says that white people judge their success based off of how horrible black people are doing. And this is why you have communities, you know, like Tulsa, Oklahoma, that was burnt down, because they seen the advantages that black people were getting from their economical status, and they said, we can't have this. So the first sign of a white woman being touched or any insurrection, they burnt it down. That's why they burnt down Rosewood. That's why they burnt down, you know, Durham, Haiti, or they destroyed Durham, Haiti, or Overtown in Miami, Florida, because when they see black people doing good, they realize that the poor whites are gonna look like, wait a minute, this country was not built for these niggers to secede over me. That's not how this is going to work. And so we must interfere with anything that these Africans are doing. Okay? And this is very important to understand, because you have black people who say things like, well, what about this poor white guy that works at Walmart? He still feels that he's better than you. And that's what this system has been designed to do. The idea of race and racism has been designed to work in twofold. It's not just a one-fold order. It works in twofold, and it plays on their securities psychologically, right? It makes them feel that no matter how bad I am as a white person, I'll always feel better than you. And it's not about the piano. It's not about the piano. The piano is just a pretext to how they truly feel about who and what we are. So if you haven't read this book, The Irritated Genius, a very good book written by Jacobs Carruthers. If you haven't seen the movie Rosewood, check it out. Very good book. A lot of times we don't like to look at slave movies or historical black movies where, you know, we are being mistreated or our ancestors are being mistreated because it makes us feel a certain type of way. But I guarantee you, if you watch those movies in depth, the way I watch Rosewood and, you know, other movies, you will learn so much about the reality of who and what we are and what we are up against. And that's why I often say we should always watch these movies and analyze them from a psychological level. And this is why I'm also beginning to do these segments where I talk in depth about these videos, so people can get a better comprehension of racism and what we're up against, so we can ultimately destroy this system of racism, white supremacy. Okay? So thank you for joining me. Peace and Black Power. Until next time, think black, stay black, love black, support black, and that's real African black power.
Anybody's hiding Jesse Hunter, my money's on Sylvester Carey. That nigga, he hates us white folk.
Mm-hmm. He does.
You know he's got a piano? A nigga with a goddamn piano. I've been working all my life. I ain't got a piano.
You don't know how to play one.
That ain't the point. Old man Comer, up in that house of his, he's got a piano. A nigga's got one, and I don't. Now, how'd that look?
Yeah, and